Welcome to the Loaded Cannon, Free Palestine, thoughts with all of the people that are being starved of aid, of food, of shelter, living in horrible conditions right now, really, really tough conditions in Palestine. My heart goes out to all of you, and hopefully there'll be enough pressure to fix that and to let aid and supplies in so it doesn't get any worse. Now, what a performance today. What a performance. We have finally beaten Bayern, and I savoured every second. It was lovely. I just have suffered so much, like we all have, against Bayern Munich in this competition. So I really, really wanted to beat them today, and it was set up so nicely, being the top two in the competition. And that's not, no one can take anything away from us for this performance because, number one, it was, as I say, the top two. Bayern are probably Europe's form team. They have been impeccable so far this season. And on top of that, at half time, no one knew which way this game was going. Bayern were really good. I was sat there in the first half and I was thinking, man, they're a really good team. That's what was going through my head. And what I love about this Arsenal team, because yes, we'll talk about on the pitch and we'll talk about what they did with their feet, but let's talk about what's in their heads for a second, the mentality of this team. It feels like the way they came out in the second half, the way we adapted our play, not for a second did the players think what I was thinking, where it was about, God, how good is this opposition? The players, the way they came out, clearly knew they had it in them to address what was going on the pitch and to assert their authority on the game. The second half was brilliant. It was clearly brilliant tactically in terms of the way we set up and how we approached the second half, what we tweaked, and also the confidence and the belief in the players not to be overawed by the fact that we're playing Bayern Munich, and they play with this sense of control and inevitability. And also, we've struggled against them. We know, obviously, a different group of players, but we played them with a similar group of players under Arteta, and they got the better of us. And just going back in this competition, Bayern have got a great history against every team, just about, but especially against Arsenal. Just didn't bother us, just didn't faze us at all, and I loved it. The first half, I thought Bayern were really, really good, and they had a lot of the ball for a lot of the first half. And yes, our goal comes from a set piece. The difference is their goal came from a perfect passage of play, absolute perfection. That ball, I think it was Kimmich to Gnabry, and then brilliant touch from him, and then Carl, who I thought, wow, what a player at 17. He was really, really tidy in the first half, drifted out of the game when Arsenal grew into the game. But that goal, the way they can play sometimes and unlock defenses, shows how good they are. So let's not take anything away from Arsenal's response because, wow, that second half was absolutely phenomenal. Just absolutely brilliant. And it was led by Declan Rice. And I'm really, really glad that I was watching the coverage on BT Sport in England. Who knows where all of you lot were watching, but they picked up on that and they were just talking and just waxing lyrical about Declan Rice. He is just one hell of a player. So good. He's so good. We got him half price, as the chant goes. And the thing is, when we signed him, I looked at that and I remember I had a conversation about him and whether 100 million was too much. And I said, no, absolutely not. He is the absolute real deal. But in spite of celebrating his signing and being so, so excited and happy about him, even signing him for that much money, there was no doubt in my mind. He's been even better than I thought. I think he's just raised his level to just something different now where you see other players cannot contend with him. He is just doing whatever he wants on the pitch, just winning duels. And do you know Martin Keown today? He kept on using the term galloping for Declan Rice, and they sort of call him the horse because of how quickly he gets around and it's just his energy levels and stuff. He just doesn't stop, and he doesn't run. He does gallop. The way he eats up the yards, he's a box-to-box superstar. And you know what? When you look at the second goal, that comes from Declan Rice because it was a loose pass by a Bayern player, but who's there to pick it up is Declan Rice. First touch, perfect. Pushes it forward and then releases it. His timing, his tempo of the game is always so perfect. and he releases that. Then obviously from that, Calafiori gets free, whips in a lovely pass, and even Calafiori, honestly, just to talk about his involvement in that goal. It's not just the cross. It's him being on the front foot when he sees Declan Rice get that ball. That's the belief that these players have with each other. That as soon as he sees that, he's on his bike. He knows the touch is going to be perfect. He knows Declan Rice is going to do the right thing. He's going to find an Arsenal player. Because if you don't have that confidence, it's hard to charge forward when you're the left back. It's very hard to do that, knowing that you've got a brilliant right winger who can, potentially really damage you if you're caught out of position. And then what Calafiori does that I really, really liked is that he's given the Bayern Munich defence something to think about. He hasn't just overlapped. This isn't just, typical patterns of play. He's gone with the underlap, where it's harder to sort of track that run. And then when he gets the ball, the cross is perfect. And Madueke, let's give him a lot of credit. I was one of those Arsenal fans that did not want to sign Madueke. Yes, I wasn't sort of like cussing him on social media. I wasn't doing any of that, but I was not for the signing. I didn't like the fact that we were strengthening the bank balance of a rival, especially in this era of financial sustainability rules. And also, I just had not seen anything from Madueke to warrant us signing him over a player like Eze, who at the time, we didn't know who was available, but there were always rumours about Eze potentially being available this summer, and I just didn't want to sign him if it meant that we don't sign a player like Eze. Thankfully, we still signed Eze. But the finish from Madueke was brilliant. I'll tell you one thing. Anyone that has played football at any level knows the way that cross was whipped in. Look at Calafiori with the way he whips that cross in. He hits that hard, and you have to hit it hard because Manuel Neuer he's a goalkeeper that plays on the front foot so much. And we saw that for the third goal, that if you don't hit that with venom, he'll just come and collect it. But he hit that so hard that I think his standing leg goes because he's sort of like hitting it on the run as well. And it bounces in front of Madueke. And for him to control that finish and make it look so easy, that was actually a really, really difficult finish. And there, if you get it wrong, the finish looks worse than it is because when you miss, people don't appreciate how hard it is to finish that. They say you have to at least, they say that all you have to do is get good contact on it. And sometimes that doesn't happen if you don't really concentrate, but Madueke did. And I'm really happy for him. He was buzzing with that and obviously did the post-match interview and everything. And it's really important for him that Arsenal fans that oppose that signing, they can be quite loud at times on social media when it's a weird one in this modern era of football with fans on social media. When you commit to an opinion, you sort of want to be vindicated. Sometimes, even if that's to the detriment of your club. And that's one thing that I really, really don't like because the quickest way to success is just to support the people wearing the shirt or the manager on the touchline. You should never, as an Arsenal fan, want to be vindicated by a player or a manager failing so that the replacement comes in and succeeds. That is a very weird route to success when you can just support what's right in front of you. So as soon as a player puts on that red shirt, even if I oppose the signing in the first place, I'm supporting him. And that means I'm supporting Madueke, and that means I want him to never, ever let the doubters like me ever be able to claim that we were right. I just hope he hits the ground running. He did that. Then he got injured. Now he's come back and he's done it again brilliantly. And long may it continue. So that was absolutely brilliant. And Declan Rice again, instrumental on set pieces, instrumental in that goal, just absolutely brilliant. Eze, who had an amazing game against Tottenham, still not over that, got an assist on this one. And this is a funny one because Martinelli, I'm not taking anything away from him, but I actually think he gets really lucky because I've watched that really carefully, the replay of that goal. I don't think I see him looking up. And I don't think he's aware of Manuel Neuer's position. Now, if that touch from Martinelli actually goes towards the centre of the goal or, towards the penalty spot, Neuer probably gets that. But it's the fact that it kind of skids off of his thigh and goes straight rather than angling into the middle of the pitch is actually what creates a goal for him. But it's the timing of his run, it's the pace, it's the ability to, even after that touch goes, to be able to look up very quickly, see where Neuer is and go the other way around him and have that composure, take the right first touch after that and roll it into an empty net. He deserves that very, very tiny bit of luck in the overall really, really good passage of play there. And Manuel Neuer, you're always going to run that risk when you come and charge out like that, and Martinelli does what he does. How lovely is it to see Madueke coming in, scores a goal. Martinelli coming in, scores a goal. Trossard got injured, and it's just brilliant because it gives you that confidence that no matter who comes in, will do the business. No Gabriel again today, but Mosquera does a really, really good job. And two players I want to talk about that might not get headlines today, but I think deserve a mention. Yesterday, if you saw the highlights of the game between Marseille and Newcastle winning 1-0 away from home in a tough ground. And how do they end up winning that game? One moment of madness from Nick Pope, Newcastle's goalkeeper. And this is what I want to say about David Raya. Today, he did nothing exceptional. I thought his distribution, unlike Tottenham, was really, really good today. But he did nothing exceptional. But that is the exceptional thing about David Raya, that he doesn't make any stupid mistakes. He really is such a solid player. Never charges out, never loses concentration, sort of never gets bored in goal. He just keeps it really, really simple. And when you see keepers charging out, Man United did it today, Nick Pope yesterday. It's very easy for professional footballers to roll a ball into an empty net. But David Raya always makes a striker, always makes an attacker have something to do. Like, he just never ever makes silly mistakes, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. But you don't get credit for doing simple things very consistently, very effectively. You get credit for the super saves, but he does deserve credit for it. So let's give him that today. And Zubimendi, because Zubimendi is just, he got caught for the Tottenham goal, albeit, but today I thought he was really, really good. He gave Declan Rice the ability to just kind of run rampant on the pitch today and be the difference maker for Arsenal, where I feel like we changed our tactics, we got on the front foot, we pressed higher, we weren't as passive in the game, and I think Zubimendi and the control that he orchestrates from a deep lying position just sort of enables Arsenal to do that. I've gone on for too long anyway. We've finally beaten Bayern. How good does that sound? Up the Arsenal, top of the Champions League, top of the Premier League, on to the big one against Chelsea. I know who you want to see win that one. Come on, Arsenal.